Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I got some bad news about the Astrovan. It's got a real bad problem with the frame. So I'm going to turn you around and show you what the problem is. Now you might say, how come there's a big piece of your frame missing? Well, actually I cut that piece out. I cut it out because I needed a piece of it so that I could measure the thickness of the metal. It looks like it's 14 gauge, and I needed to find I didn't know how to measure the curve, the radius of the bends, so I cut out a piece of metal so I can take it to the machine shop that I'm going to have do this for me. But here is the real problem. This part right here was completely open, just like you can see that up there. There's actually nothing holding it except for just a little right there. Probably that right there. That looks cracked anyway, doesn't it? And then that looks completely cracked. So it scared me when I saw this, and so I go, well, what's holding the stupid frame? Now the outside of the frame is a little bit better, but not by much, because it looks like it's getting ready to crack out here too. And so I could see me putting some heavy stuff in here and going down the road, and all of a sudden this part just bends down and hits the frame. Anyway, I'm gonna go tomorrow. So with the radius there, it's kind of hard to measure the frame to know exactly what the dimensions are. So I created myself a gauge. So there's my gauge, and this is how it fits in there. And so you can see that it goes all the way to the top and all the way to the top on the outside. And so that gives me the height, it gives me the width, but it doesn't really give me the curve of the bends. And that's why I cut this piece out right here. So I'm gonna take this with me when I go to have my piece of metal bent, and that'll allow them to get the radius of the bends, which looks like 1/4 of an inch to me, but yeah, I don't know. And on that outside wall doesn't really look too bad, does it? There's a ton of debris in here too, pieces of rust and stuff. And this is a heavier piece of metal. I think it's probably in case you hit a real hard bump, and I think that piece of metal is supposed to hit the axle here and hopefully prevent it from bending the frame. Now, that side over there isn't too bad a shape, but you can see on the bottom edge of it that the metal is all exfoliated where it's rusted. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. The frame is okay there. It's not 100% pristine, but it's certainly not as bad as this is right here. So I'll let you know when I get the piece of metal, and when I'm not sure. I hope I don't have to drop the axle out of it, but I am going to have to take out the gas tank, which is right there's the cut, right there's the tank. It's just right in the face of the tank. So the tank's got to come down too, but I don't want to do that quite yet in case I have to drive this thing somewhere. At least I would have the tank on it, and all I have to do is put the wheels back on and pray that this doesn't break. Anyway, that's all for today. So yesterday I didn't film anything because all I was doing was getting the fuel out of the tank. So I tried to put a hose down here to siphon it out, and it seems like there's some sort of a baffle in the tank that doesn't allow you to pull the fuel out that way. So what I had to do was take the fuel filter off on the bottom and stick a rubber hose on it, like a small heater hose. I think it's probably, I don't know, 5/8 inch hose. And so I would turn on the ignition switch and it would run the pump for just a few seconds. If I tried to start it, it would run it for a few seconds, but it wouldn't stay running. And I didn't want to have to crank and tear my starter up and kill the battery. So I disconnected the relay out under the hood. It's the small one that's on there's two relays out there on the right hand side next to the blower motor. So the one on the inside, which is a smaller relay, I took that open, took the relay off, and shorted the pins that would make the fuel pump run continuously. That's the fuel pump in the tank I'm talking about. And so I did that, and I had 5-gallon cans sitting here with a hose in it from the fuel feed line that comes out of the tank, and I had already taken the filter out. So I put the hose on there, and it fit pretty much well enough to not let it leak under the pan. And I kept running the pump. I would use a jumper wire between theirs, run it for probably 3 or 4 minutes until my can got full. I would disconnect it and then go pour that in one of my cars that wasn't full. And I had a hard time getting all the fuel out of it because I didn't have anywhere to put it. So when I finally got done, I had a complete 5-gallon can full and another 5-gallon can about half full. But I got all the fuel out. And so today, or maybe tomorrow, I'll drop the tank off. I have to mow the yard today, so it'll probably be tomorrow that I'll drop the tank. I got to drop the tank and get it out of the way, because if I start grinding on that stuff and there's any leaks at all on that fuel tank, it's probably going to explode. And I don't want that to happen again. Did I say again? Long story. I might tell you that one day. Anyway, I'm going to put this back together, and that'll be it for today. I'll be mowing the yard. I'm sure you don't want to see that. Bye, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel, YouTube. Welcome back to G-Pop Adventures. Today I'm working on my 92 Astro van again, and I had a problem with the fuel door. It wouldn't stay closed. So you push it up there, and it would just pop back out again. So while I'm doing maintenance on it, I decided I would check out and see what happened. And it seems that this little tab right here was broken off. So it was just no tab at all there. So I got a hold of my soldering iron and some tie wrap, some wire ties. The ones I used were for actually air conditioning to hold ducts, flexible ducts to metal duct connections. And I melted it on there. And so now, when it comes in, so it catches and it'll stay there. Hopefully it'll stay closed this time. So I'm going to put it back on, and I'll turn you off while I'm actually doing the assemble, and then So I'm going to put this back on the van and see if it works. Wish me luck. So I'll turn you off for now and bring you back when I'm testing it. Okay, all done. And I closed the door, and now it's time to test it. It's staying closed, that's good. Uh-oh. I think this handle, there's a problem with this handle too. It looks like it might have a broken mount to it. A pivot hinge may have come out or something. So I got to take that apart. So I'll turn you off again, and I'll bring you back when I've got a solution. Okay, so I took this thing out. This is the lever, and I found out that the pin, there's a pin that goes right down through here that holds the top and the bottom in. And so I learned that that pin had slipped out. And so that string of ridge there, that's actually super glue. I guess I got a little excited with the super glue. And so I put super glue on the top side and on the bottom side to hold it in place. It wasn't broken, it was just out of place. And so the bottom, as when you pulled on this lever, the bottom would kick out, and you couldn't get enough travel on the cable to open the door. And so now, if I close it, it stays closed. And if I pull the lever, if I can hold this and pull the lever at the same time, it opens up. Yay! So that part is fixed, thank goodness. That always bugged my wife, that the gas door wouldn't stay closed. And I guess that sticks out a little bit. It doesn't go back the way it should. So this handle, when you pull it, it will stay out. I guess I need to lube it. Come to think about it, it might be the super glue that's doing that. Wouldn't that be crazy if it like stuck it together and then I couldn't use it at all? I think it'd be fine. All right, that's all for today.